Hi, my name is Галя and welcome to my channel Галя's Orchids, орхидеите на Галя.
Hi guys, my name is Galia and welcome to another episode of the series Briefly About. And today's topic is this absolutely gorgeous, fantastic little yellow beauty. This is Gastrochilus japonicus. And this is an orchid that I never thought I would buy. Because honestly, when I see the kind of leaves, and the first thing that comes to my mind is it's miniature and it has soft leaves, no pseudobulbs. This means this plant will need a lot of water, regular watering, and I just don't do that. I'm really not into watering much. So initially I was like, oh no miniatures, no lots of watering. But when I saw these blooms, these absolutely fantastic blooms, I just couldn't care less about watering and what it needed. This is one of the plants I bought despite the fact that I knew I was going to have trouble with it because it doesn't suit my environment and it doesn't suit my lifestyle, and I generally have big problem with tiny orchids. But it appears I was wrong. If I have to be completely honest, I gave this plant a detailed research just now. Probably because I already am able to discern the type of plant and what it needs just from its appearance and characteristics. And that's why I managed to care for it for 1 year exactly. I bought this plant exactly 1 year ago, and during that time I did not read a single line of information about it because I just knew it needed moisture. Anyways, so let me tell you what the big books say about Gastrochilus japonicus, or rather what the internet says about this plant. And first of all, with respect to light, it's kind of 20,000-30,000 lux, which is kind of more like high level, like unifoliate Cattleyas, what they prefer. So it prefers more light compared to your average Phalaenopsis hybrid. With respect to temperatures, it's considered a moderate temperature plant, and what they mention is 25-26 degrees day temperature in the summer and 17-18 degrees during the night in the summer, which is like daily temperature difference of about 8-9 degrees. That's not too difficult to achieve, at least in my environment. In moderate climate, we have this much difference between the day and night temperatures, so it's kind of okay. As for the winter temperatures, the internet says 19-20 degrees during the day and 19 degrees Celsius during the night. And let me tell you, I do not have this. I have grown this plant all year round inside my apartment, and I can assure you it's not 9 degrees during the night in the winter where I sleep. So this plant has received more like 20-25 degrees, let's say 20-22 average temperature during the whole year. So Obviously, it can adapt to higher temperatures and even bloom. At least my plant managed to do it. With respect to humidity, now this was a shocker. I mean, I know, I can tell miniature orchids, they usually need high humidity. These tiny thin leaves mean they don't store a lot of moisture in the leaves, so they don't have these reservoirs for water, which means they need regular watering and higher humidity. And what I read now is 90% humidity during several months, and the rest of the time 80-85%. Well, I don't have that. No. I don't have that. I have 30-50% humidity all year round. So yeah. Anyway, what I did obviously I had to compensate. I knew it needed high humidity and a lot of water, of moisture. So I had to compensate somehow. I bought the plant last year, like I said. It was in spike. It had several spikes. They bloomed beautifully, fantastically. The plant was bought from the Romanian nursery, Secret Garden, and their plants are mostly imported from Asia. And I believe this plant originally comes from the Taiwanese nursery Miki. And it was potted in moss, and I kept it in moss for several months until I noticed that it was not performing too well. And as you can see, these leaves here, see how they get smaller. So sometime around that point, when I noticed that the new leaves were growing smaller in comparison to the previous leaves, I knew I had to repot, and I knew that this plant was not feeling too well in the original moss media. So I repotted in bark chips from the New Zealand orchidea, and it was the grade was 6-9 millimeters or 9-12. It looks like 6-9, I think. And I added layers of the same brand, the same company produces the sphagnum moss, New Zealand sphagnum moss. And I also added quite a bit of ceramis, as you can see. And the plant actually absolutely loved the repotting. I was not expecting that the plant would like it so much. So as you can see, these two and this one leaf here were actually developed after the repotting of the plant, and this is an evidence, obviously, that the plant likes the new setup. Also, it managed to, just until recently, just maybe a few weeks ago, it had active root tips on all its roots. And yeah, you can see here, you can see the roots here. So it really took off really well. So my idea is with this video is that it seems there is a way for the media to compensate for the lack of humidity in the air. And also it seems it's quite adaptive and tolerant with respect to temperatures. I read that the roots should dry out completely very fast, so that it needs a fast wet dry cycle. So far, this is not happening. This media that I prepared retains a lot of moisture. So I was kind of concerned exactly because of that in the beginning, because I was afraid that the roots might start to rot. But they don't. I don't know, maybe I just accidentally matched the required level of moisture and aeration within the pot, within the media. I don't know, but it looks fantastic in my opinion. It looks very happy. It's blooming. I love the flowers, and I'm definitely going to give myself another go with another type of Gastrochilus. It's not fragrant, but who cares? It's beautiful. I just forgot to mention where, with respect to light, I have only eastern windows. I have mentioned this many times before, and this plant sits on a shelf, on a rack, about 1 meter away from that east window, and I grow it together with some novelty phalaenopsis, so it kind of likes the same amount of light that they like. They also respond well to this amount of light that they receive. So about 1 meter away from an eastern window. I haven't fertilized too much, and what I definitely didn't do is take in consideration when the spike is coming or when it's blooming season, because I wasn't sure when it is. So my advice would be just your typical fertilizing. If you have more balanced fertilizer, I think I'm recently changing my approach to fertilizers, so I'm starting to believe more and more that well-balanced fertilizer, which is applied regularly, I usually fertilize at about 250 ppm, that's particles per million, the amount of total dissolved solids in the fertilizer solution. So I think if the solution of the fertilizer is not too strong, I think if it's balanced, a balanced formula which provides a good amount of all the macro and micronutrients, you should be fine. And this was everything for this little fellow here. I absolutely recommend it to anyone who is into tiny little yellow flowers. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you. If you're still here and watching, thank you so much. And have a great day.